Hello, my hosts, and welcome to another editing stream. So let's get started on the editing as I'm not seeing any audio. And I've just paused. That's weird. Okay. I can actually see some audio there. Just a second. Push this button. Is that fine? Yeah, I can hear it. Okay, cool. Okay. Let's get started then. We had a whole lot of technical difficulties coming into this. Okay, let's get that button. Go to open the Fusion page. Yep. Yep. The if clause. We have a sig. Hi, New Haven. Good to see you. Sigma type, which introduces Q, a whole number. I missed a Q. Ironically, this one does. Yep. Hi, Bleak. How does it go? Let's just fast forward that point. Yeah. Almost, but in this case, I missed a literal Q. All the Qs should have little squares around them. Like that. All right. Close that up. Let's go to the next thing. Q, a whole number integer variable. Because it is a sigma type, it only needs to be true for at least one of the whole numbers. And we have a product type. Okay. When we talk about product type, we're going to narrow the scope further, the whole numbers. And we have, so let's start the animation from this point. That's not the animation we want. This is the animation we want. Donk. Donk. Size and center. Yep. Okay. And the whole numbers. And we have a product type, which like that. Good. Go back. Go adjust this rectangle. Like that. Fast forward. Here, I'll adjust the size of this rectangle so it only covers what we show above. And then, what do we got? That's instant rec 3.1. Let's change that name. Origin rec. And this one, good. All right, let's just merge 4.1. Actually, not merge 4.1. Merge 3. Merge 3. And what's the other one? Merge 3 and origin rec. That's not it. Origin rec, call. Why am I not seeing? Okay. I thought the size of it's animated there. Okay. Why? Guess it's just very subtle. Goes from 2 to 9.8. I'll smooth that out. Hey, Lordix. And now that's the whole numbers. And we have a product type, which we established in our previous video, corresponds to an ant. So this becomes populated when... Yep, that's good. Oh, what's the time? That's fine. This becomes populated. When does it come? It's populated when both sides are populated. That's a previous video, corresponds to an ant. So this becomes populated when both... That's a real petty bleak. Yeah. Can PC repair fix that? Theoretically they should be able to, but you'd have to talk to them. Alternatively, if you've got a hard disk drive that you can boot off, you install a hard disk drive as a primary disk drive and your second disk drive as your secondary disk drive. You boot off your primary and then you have you use your utilities to fix your secondary hard drive to make it bootable again. All right. Oh, that's an ugly color. This will be grey, but if we pull that back, that's better. There. Do I actually need multi-merge to do this? I'll find out in a second. Ah. Yeah, and not even a healthy P. Can I load a second bootable using my old? Probably not then. You'd need a proper caddy for it. Okay, adjust. Like that. Bring that down. Bring that in. Reduce the border width further. Like that. Shouldn't Q have the terms form NDP instead of ND, where P is the proof of the fact that the function is reduced? That is one way of doing it, yes. The alternative, which I'm talking about, is populating them with all the equivalences and including a uniqueness rule that has all of the equivalent ND pairs in it. Does that make sense? Mostly because I want to further introduce the idea of uniqueness rules. The whole numbers. Then we have a product type, which we established in our previous video, corresponds to an AND. So this becomes populated when both sides are That's the spot where I want to say both sides. Blend that there. Go back. Like that. Wait, symmetric. Right. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There. So we are doing a setoid approach where we use the equivalent relationships instead of equality. Yeah, effectively, yes. All right. Yeah. Okay, I think that works. Hold on. Previous video corresponds to an end. So this becomes populated when both sides are... That doesn't look right. It's... What's that down there? Oops, that's not what I want to do. Let's hide everything but urge 9. Cool. So it takes short amount of time. Yeah. Or corresponds to an and. So this becomes populated when both... Oh, now I've gone out of sync with the... Becomes populated when both sides... That's both sides there. Video. Okay. Corresponds to an and. So this becomes populated when both sides are... Right. There. Now, can I copy, paste? And move that across like that. And increase the width. All right. There we go. Perfect. Type, which we established in our previous video, corresponds to an and. So this becomes populated. when both sides are populated. On the first part of our on the first part okay, when we talk about first parts, we zoom in again. All right. That. On the first part, yeah. Span the size. Go in there. Let's put that to be central. That way. And we'll cut down here as well. Like that. So reduce the width there. All right. Set those. Jump forward. Reduce the width here and bring that in. So it looks like two things correspond to each other. All right. Now we've got merge 3, size and center, and open rec. Good. Select all of those. Smooth them out. Let's see how the animation goes now. This becomes populated when both sides are populated. On the first part, that looks wrong because the one at the top anticipates the one at the bottom. Yeah. Hold on, if I just go like that, okay, cool. I really need to be able to show multiple monitors on this thing. Uh, take that away. Displacement and size. Why does it? Okay, this is the origin rectangle. And it moves. Okay, you're here. Did I do something silly like? Okay, that's better. Now do they look in sync? Draw it back. Comes to an end. So this becomes populated when both sides are pop. Okay. It's still moving back. Okay, that's the width animation. You okay, that should be totally level. Sides are populated. On the first part of our yep, that's better. Eh, all right. On the first part of our product type, we multiply Q by itself. Then we compare to see if it's greater than or equal to 1. There we go. All right. I'm going to do another stretch. Oh, I didn't? Well, that was foolish of me. Well, got my first stretch in. Let's go back. Are populated. On the first part of our product type, we likewise, good to see you. are populated. On the first part of our product type, we multiply Q by itself, and then we compare to see if it's greater than or equal to 1. This is a roundabout way of saying non-zero, but in a more positive, encouraging way. Without double negative elimination, saying not equal to 0 can cause problems, and being sort of positive and avoiding saying not is a way to do this more non-problematically in constructivist ways. In the second, all right, that's the spot where we go for the next bit of animation. Same trick. In the second part, all right, let's shift ourselves like that. And move backwards. Adjust this thing. First we set those. Go forward. Increase the width. Find that we're going to need to narrow the scope slightly. Do with the size. There. Perfect. Again, we adjust these. Like that. If you do about there, was it? And then increase the width. And then I'm going to move to my notorious second screen that nobody can see. And I'm going to adjust the easing curves. Where is it? All right. Okay, let's see how that turns out. In the second part of our product type, we multiply both the denominator and the numerator of the pair by Q. And the numerator of the pair. Let's see. Of our product type, we multiply both the denominator. Let's see if we can make the denominator light up again. This one. That's the wrong denominator. Let's adjust that then. Gonna need that actually up to max here. It's interesting how I say denominator and the numerator. I always say the denominator first, even though numerator's on the top of the thing and it's the first thing there. Ah. Go like that. This is going to have to be blended first. So I need to go back a bit. Both the denominator. So there. Let's set all of these. Like that. Move forward a frame. And reverse that. There. Ah. Hold on, why is that lit? Oh, okay, cool. Both the set to 0. What are you? Merge 1_1. The denominator and that. Put that back. So that will briefly have a little blow up with the denominator and we do the same thing to make the numerator glow. All right. Yeah. I've got a lot of... I have a lot of spaghetti node code myself. This one is relatively well organized. Let's stick these like that. Set forward a frame. Switch the direction of the blends. Right. And the numerator. So that comes up fully. Numerator of and back. And you are merge 1. All right. Actually, just timing slightly. Oh, let's try that. The numerator of the pair by Q. Of the pair by Q. There he goes. Vodka means water in Russian. Or something like that. Know for a fact that champagne comes from the champagne of regions of France and yeah. By Q. And where's the bit where we merge in? I think that's Q, isn't it? Nope, that's not it. Ah, that's the Q one. Move back in time. Drop that down by Q. If drop that down there. Okay. Let's try that. By Q. If there exists some Q that makes yeah. Yeah. See, what I find interesting is there is an upper limit to the percentage of alcohol you can have in a drink because over a certain amount, the ethanol alcohol in the liquid will actually suck the humidity out of the air and dilute itself. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Just wanted to move those back. All right. Denominator and the numerator of the pair by Q. If there exists some Q that makes these two sides equal, we can do this one. Again. So we're talking about sides. Q that makes these two sides different sides. Guess make something similar to that. Merge. How did programmers make a programming language to program programs to program? They started with machine code and doing it raw by hand. And they use that to write the first assembler, and then use the assembler to write the first compiler. And from then they built upwards and upwards through the abstraction. There. Let's change this. Sure. Ah. Yes, it was, which is an incredible effort. Yeah. Just width. Like that. Border width is going to be smaller. Height. There. Do the same thing over here. Widen it out a little bit. Okay. Good. That one, we're going to have to put the timing for this as well. These two sides equal, that makes these two. Okay. Oh my God. that. Back a bit. Ah, would you be able to make probably not. Vettel's talents are not just his programming talents. These two sides equal. It's also knowing how to pick good training data and knowing what signals to give. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hi, Awesome Pie. These two sides equal. Then this will be equal. And then another move forward. All right. Let's do that. I'm doing quite well. Yeah. Yeah. Let's mark that. Then this will be equal. Will be true. Oh, this will be equal. Will be true. Okay, that is me flubbing a line. Let me get out into my editing and remove that flubbed line. Then this will be equal. Will be true. Okay, will be true. Will be equal. Okay, so we can just get rid of that. Then this will be true. With that, equal, then this will be true. With that, we go to the other side. Okay. All right, let's get back into editing this in Fusion. Then this will be equal, then also got to go in here and purge the audio cache. All right. Then this will be true. It's coming on to 2:30 here. This will be true. All right. There we go. There. All right. Move back to the start. We do the same thing here. Jump forward. All right. Uh, there. Sides equal, then this will be true. With that, we go to the other side. To the other side. There it goes. Okay. We've got, then move forward again to go to the other side. To the other side. Yep, that's what I said. Like that. Increase the size to maximize readability. Yep. And then have to cut that down. So let's do that. Yep. That. There. We reduce the width here. Actually, location as well. Good. Let's see how that looks. These two sides equal, then this will be true. With that, we go to the other side of the type, which asserts, yeah, type. Ah, next step. So we animate the upper one down here. There. Move across to that. The equal signs like there. Ah, just reduce the width. Perfect. Let's see how that comes out. Now, go to the other side of the type, which asserts since the if clause is true, then that requires the then clause to be true. So the equality type will be populated by this rule. By the way, my pre okay, go like that. Will be populated by this rule. Then we can reduce that. We come back to here. Let's bring in my board. I'm going to use some images from there. Ah. Just gonna remove that. Just because of YouTube's terms of service, it's probably a bad idea to talk about disordered eating. Bleak? Here we go. Will be populated by this rule. By the way, my previous definition of rationals in my previous video, I introduced a mistake. I forgot to use a denominator type which excludes 0. Also, there is another way you could do rationals via multiplication. You get this type as your uniqueness rule, which is I have to generate that, but I'll do that later. In fact, I think that will be enough for today live. I'll probably do it later on. I'll probably do it a bit more later on today off stream. Let me get that button like that. Let me get to my main room if I can do that. Thank you all for joining me as I keep on saying play, but as I did some editing. As always, thank you very much. And if it's your first time watching, please consider subscribing. Tomorrow we will be playing well, hopefully UE4. So I hope you can join me for that. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all later. Goodbye.